The Tarkalian assassins sent to eliminate Earth's leaders never expected to become its staunchest defenders. But that's precisely what happened when the High Council of Tarkos made a grave miscalculation. In the vast orbital capital circling the planet Tarkos, the Tarkalian High Council convened for a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. Their deep space probe had discovered Earth's advanced technological capabilities, sending shockwaves through the Council. Perceiving this as a threat to their dominion, they voted to dispatch a team of elite assassins to Earth. Laros, a seasoned operative with countless successful missions under his belt, was chosen to lead the team. In a secure briefing room, holographic displays flickered with images of Earth's leaders and defense systems. Laros and his team absorbed every detail as they were equipped with the latest in Tarkalian technology. Cloaking devices that bent light around them, shape-shifting implants that could alter their very cellular structure, and neurotoxin weapons specifically engineered to target human physiology. As their sleek spacecraft slipped into faster-than-light travel, Laros reviewed the mission parameters. Their primary objective: eliminate key human leaders and destabilize Earth's defenses. The fate of Tarkalian supremacy rested on their shoulders. Arriving in Earth's orbit, the assassin ship remained undetected, its advanced stealth systems rendering it invisible to human monitoring equipment. Laros led his team to the surface, their shape-shifting implants allowing them to seamlessly blend in with the local population. Their first target was a high-ranking U.S. military officer stationed at the Pentagon. Laros, disguised as a visiting diplomat, made his way through the labyrinthine corridors of the massive building. His team, scattered throughout the complex, maintained constant communication through subvocal implants. As Laros approached his target's office, he failed to notice the keen eyes of Caleb Murphy, a security analyst with an uncanny ability to spot inconsistencies. Caleb's instincts, honed by years of experience, tingled as he observed the diplomat's behavior. Something was off. Caleb's suspicions grew as he noticed subtle discrepancies in the visitor's gait and mannerisms. Acting on his gut feeling, he discreetly alerted his superiors and initiated a building-wide lockdown. Klaxons blared and security personnel flooded the corridors. Caught off guard, Laros and his team were forced to abandon their mission. They fought their way out of the Pentagon, their advanced weaponry giving them an edge over the human security forces. As they escaped into the streets of Washington, D.C., Laros realized their carefully laid plans had unraveled. Regrouping at a safe house, Laros and his team reassessed their strategy. The failed assassination attempt had alerted Earth's defenses to their presence. Laros decided on a bold new approach. Instead of targeting individuals, they would strike at the heart of Earth's global defense systems. Their new target: a crucial satellite array in low Earth orbit, responsible for coordinating Earth's planetary defense grid. By sabotaging this array, they could leave the planet vulnerable to a full-scale Tarkalian invasion. Meanwhile, Caleb Murphy found himself thrust into the center of a global crisis. Recognized for his role in thwarting the assassination attempt, he was tasked with heading a special task force to investigate and neutralize the alien threat. As Caleb and his team pored over evidence from the Pentagon incident, they began to uncover the extent of the Tarkalian infiltration. Racing against time, Caleb worked tirelessly to piece together the puzzle. He knew the aliens would strike again, but where? As he connected the dots, a chilling realization dawned on him. The satellite array was the perfect target. As Laros and his team prepared to launch their attack on the orbital installation, Caleb Murphy mobilized Earth's defenses. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, with Laros poised to cripple Earth's defenses and Caleb determined to stop him at any cost. The sleek Tarkalian ship glided silently through the inky blackness of space, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to Earth's conventional detection systems. Inside, Laros and his team of assassins prepared for their most ambitious assault yet. Their target: the crucial satellite array coordinating Earth's planetary defense grid. As Laros input the final coordinates, a proximity alarm blared through the ship's command center. "Impossible," he hissed, his multifaceted eyes scanning the sensor readouts. "They shouldn't be able to detect us." but detect them they had. On Earth, Caleb Murphy's fingers flew across his keyboard, his eyes darting between multiple screens displaying real-time data from Earth's most advanced tracking systems. He had anticipated the Tarkalians' next move and prepared accordingly. "Got you," Caleb muttered, a grim smile playing on his lips. He keyed his comm link. "Commander Hawkins, they're making their move. Coordinates locked and uploaded to your system." In a secret facility nestled deep in the Nevada desert, Commander Jack Hawkins strode purposefully toward the sleek Earth Defense Force shuttle. His team of hand-picked space combat specialists fell in behind him, their faces set with persistence. "All right, people," Hawkins barked as they boarded. "This is what we've trained for. Those alien bastards think they can take out our defense grid? Let's show them what happens when you mess with Earth." The EDF shuttle's engines roared to life, pushing the craft skyward with breathtaking acceleration. As they pierced through the atmosphere, the inky blackness of space enveloped them. Hawkins' co-pilot, Lieutenant Chen, called out sensor readings. "Commander, I've got a visual on the target. They're already engaging our satellites." Through the shuttle's view screen, Hawkins watched as beams of concentrated energy lanced out from the now visible Tarkalian ship, slicing through Earth's satellites with terrifying precision. "Weapons hot," Hawkins ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves." The EDF shuttle streaked towards the alien vessel, unleashing a barrage of advanced missiles. The Tarkalian ship's shields flared brilliantly as they absorbed the impact, but Hawkins noted with satisfaction that the alien craft broke off its attack on the satellites to face this new threat. Back on Earth, Caleb and his team worked feverishly to mitigate the damage. "Reroute all critical communications through the backup channels," Caleb commanded, "and get those ground-based laser platforms online. We need to give Hawkins all the support we can." As technicians scrambled to comply, Caleb's second-in-command, Dr. Eliza Chen, approached with a tablet in hand. "Caleb, we've made a breakthrough with the Tarkalian communications. It's partial, but you need to see this." Caleb's eyes widened as he scanned the decrypted data. "This isn't just an attack. It's a prelude to invasion. We need to warn Hawkins." In orbit, the space battle raged with increasing intensity. The EDF shuttle darted and weaved through a storm of Tarkalian energy blasts, its shields straining under the assault. Inside, Sergeant Maria Scott monitored the weapon systems with laser focus. "Commander," she called out, "I'm noticing a pattern. Their shields fluctuate every time they fire their main weapon. There's a split-second vulnerability we can exploit." Hawkins nodded grimly. "Good catch, Sergeant. Chen, time our next attack run with their weapons discharge. We'll hit them when their pants are down." As they executed the maneuver, Hawkins' comm crackled to life with Caleb's urgent message. "Commander, be advised. We've uncovered evidence of an imminent full-scale invasion. We need that ship intact if possible. We need their tech and intel." Hawkins swore under his breath. "Understood, Control. We'll do our best, but these buggers aren't making it easy." The battle continued to unfold, a deadly dance of advanced technology and piloting skill. The EDF shuttle hammered the Tarkalian ship repeatedly, taking advantage of every momentary lapse in their defenses. But the alien vessel gave as good as it got, its weapons leaving scorch marks across the shuttle's hull. Inside the Tarkalian ship, Lara snarled in frustration. These humans were proving far more capable than anticipated. "Retreat," he ordered. "Set course for the Mars base. We'll regroup and strike again with reinforcements." But as the Tarkalian ship attempted to disengage, Hawkins saw his opportunity. "All weapons, fire!" he roared. A devastating barrage struck the alien vessel's engines, crippling its propulsion system. Laro stumbled as his ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared throughout the command center, warning of critical system failures. With grim determination, Laros made his decision. "Initiate self-destruct sequence," he commanded. "We will not allow our technology to fall into human hands." But Hawkins and his team were already on the move. As the Tarkalian ship's airlock was breached, Earth's finest space combat specialists poured in, their advanced weaponry overwhelming the surprised assassins. Hawkins himself tackled Laros, subduing the alien leader moments before he could finalize the self-destruct sequence. Not today, Hawkins growled, securing Laros with specialized restraints. As the last of the resistance was quelled, Sergeant Scott's voice came over the comm. "Commander, self-destruct has been disarmed. We've secured the ship." Hawkins allowed himself a moment of satisfaction before reality set in. "Good work, team. Now let's see what secrets this ship holds. Earth is counting on us." But even as Hawkins and his team began to explore the captured Tarkalian vessel, a new threat loomed. Back on Earth, Caleb received an urgent alert from global monitoring stations. His blood ran cold as he processed the information. Multiple unidentified objects, consistent with a large invasion fleet, had been detected entering the outer solar system. The real battle, it seemed, was just beginning. As Caleb relayed this dire news to Hawkins, both men knew that the fate of Earth now hung in the balance. With a captured alien ship, prisoners to interrogate, and advanced technology to analyze, they had a fighting chance. But as the Tarkalian invasion fleet drew ever closer, the question remained, would it be enough? Caleb's eyes remained fixed on the screen, tracking the ominous approach of the Tarkalian invasion fleet. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the challenges ahead. Turning to his team, he spoke with quiet intensity. "We've got work to do. Let's make every second count." In a secure interrogation room deep beneath the Pentagon, Commander Jack Hawkins faced off against the captured Tarkalian assassin, Laros. The alien's multifaceted eyes gleamed defiantly in the harsh light. "You've lost, Laros," Hawkins said, leaning in close. "Your mission failed. Earth knows you're coming. Why don't you save us both some time and tell me what we need to know?" Laros remained silent, his alien features unreadable. Hawkins changed tactics, pulling out a tablet and showing Laros footage of the captured Tarkalian ship being studied by Earth scientists. "See that? We're learning your secrets. It's only a matter of time before we crack your tech wide open. Help us, and maybe we can work something out." For a moment, Laros's composure cracked. His mandibles twitched, and he spoke in a low, gravelly voice. You don't understand what you're facing. The invasion fleet. It's just the beginning." Hawkins pressed his advantage. "Tell me about the fleet. Where are they coming from?" Laros hesitated, then seemed to deflate. "Mars," he said finally. "We have a forward base on Mars. It's been there for years, preparing for this moment." As Laros continued to divulge crucial information, Caleb Murphy was briefing Earth's top military leaders. General Marcus Steele, a grizzled veteran with a reputation for unconventional tactics, listened intently as Caleb outlined the global defense strategy. "We're implementing a new adaptive defense grid," Caleb explained, gesturing to a holographic display of Earth. "It integrates our military assets with civilian infrastructure, creating a resilient network that can rapidly respond to any incursion." General Steele nodded approvingly. "Innovative. But will it be enough to stop a full-scale invasion?" Before Caleb could respond, an aide burst into the room. "Sir, we've got a breakthrough. Dr. Victor Reeves wants to speak with you immediately." In a state-of-the-art laboratory, Dr. Reeves, a lanky man with wild gray hair and piercing blue eyes, was practically bouncing with excitement as Caleb and General Steele entered. "Gentlemen, you're not going to believe this," Reeves said, leading them to a workstation where a Tarkalian shape-shifting implant was being analyzed. "We've cracked it. The implant's biomechanical interface. It's adaptable. We can reverse engineer it for human use." The implications were staggering. Caleb's mind raced with the possibilities. "How soon can we have a working prototype?" Reeves grinned. "Give me 48 hours. As Earth's defenses rapidly evolved, Commander Hawkins found himself aboard the ESS Shadowhawk, Earth's most advanced stealth spacecraft. His hand-picked team of soldiers and scientists, including Dr. Reeves, prepared for their daring mission to Mars. "Listen up," Hawkins addressed his team in the Shadowhawk's briefing room. "Our objective is to infiltrate and neutralize the Tarkalian base on Mars. Dr. Reeves has equipped us with reverse-engineered shape-shifting tech. We'll use it to slip past their defenses and plant explosives at key points. As the Shadowhawk streaked towards Mars, Earth's astronomers made a chilling discovery. The Tarkalian invasion fleet had suddenly accelerated, dramatically reducing their estimated arrival time. Caleb, now promoted to head of global security operations, worked tirelessly to expedite Earth's preparations. He coordinated with military and civilian leaders worldwide, implementing the adaptive defense grid at a breakneck pace. On Mars, the Shadowhawk touched down silently kilometers from the Tarkalian base. Hawkins and his team activated their shape-shifting implants, their bodies contorting and reshaping into perfect replicas of Tarkalian soldiers. They approached the base, hearts pounding but externally calm. A Tarkalian guard challenged them at the entrance. Hawkins responded with the access codes extracted from Laros, and they were waved through. Inside, the team split up. Hawkins and Dr. Reeves made their way to the heart of the base, where intel suggested they'd find the main power source. What they discovered exceeded their wildest expectations. A massive energy generator pulsed with otherworldly power, connected to an enormous ring-like structure. Dr. Reeves's eyes widened in realization. "It's a portal," he whispered. "They're not just flying here, they're teleporting. That's how they've suddenly accelerated." As Reeves worked to analyze the portal device, Hawkins and his team began planting explosives around the generator. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the base. Their cover was blown. Tarkalian soldiers poured into the generator room, energy weapons blazing. Hawkins and his team returned fire, their human combat instincts giving them an edge despite the aliens' superior technology. In the chaos, Dr. Reeves was hit. He stumbled, clutching his side, but managed to reach the main control panel. "Almost got it," he gasped, fingers flying over the alien interface. "Explosives, calibrated for maximum effect." Hawkins fought his way to Reeves, half carrying the wounded scientist as they retreated. "Fall back to the Shadowhawk," he ordered over the comm. As they battled through the corridors of the Tarkalian base, Hawkins managed to send a brief transmission to Earth, informing Caleb of the portal device and their plan to destroy it. Caleb, receiving the transmission, made a split-second decision. He diverted a significant portion of Earth's orbital defenses, priming them to deliver a massive electromagnetic pulse to the coordinates of the Mars base. "Time it with Hawkins' explosives," he ordered. "We'll fry every piece of tech in that base." On Mars, Hawkins and his surviving team members fought desperately to reach the Shadowhawk. Energy blasts sizzled past them, scoring the walls and floor. They could hear the pursuing Tarkalians getting closer. Finally, they reached the ship. As wounded were rushed aboard, Hawkins turned for a final stand against their pursuers. The air crackled with weapons fire as the Shadowhawk's engines roared to life. "Now!" Hawkins yelled into his comm as the ship lifted off. Seconds later, the Tarkalian base erupted in a blinding explosion, amplified by the precisely timed electromagnetic pulse from Earth. The portal device collapsed in on itself, creating a short-lived but intense gravity well that shook the Shadowhawk as it escaped Mars's atmosphere. In the depths of space, the Tarkalian invasion fleet suddenly found itself adrift, millions of kilometers from their destination, their portal link severed. Back on Earth, Caleb watched the long-range sensor feeds with a mixture of relief and unshakable focus. They had won a crucial victory, but the war was just getting started. The Tarkalian fleet, though stranded, was still a formidable threat slowly making its way towards Earth. In the Shadowhawk's medbay, Dr. Reeves regained consciousness. Despite his injury, a weak smile played on his lips. "We did it," he murmured to Hawkins. "We bought Earth time." Hawkins nodded, his face etched with the weariness of battle and the weight of command. "We did, but our job's not finished. We need to get this intel back to Earth and prepare for the next phase." As the Shadowhawk streaked back towards Earth, Caleb began coordinating the next stage of humanity's defense. In a holding cell, deep beneath the Pentagon, Laros, the captured Tarkalian assassin, watched the footage of the Mars base's destruction with a mixture of shock and grudging respect. For the first time, doubt crept into Laros's mind. These humans had proven far more resourceful and determined than anyone had anticipated. As Earth geared up for the battles to come, the seeds of an unlikely alliance began to take root in Laros's alien consciousness. Mind. These humans had proven far more resourceful and determined than anyone had anticipated. As Earth geared up for the battles to come, the seeds of an unlikely alliance began to take root in Laros's alien consciousness. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in its history. Caleb Murphy, now head of Global Security Operations, found himself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. His days blurred into nights as he coordinated efforts across the globe, his office a hub of constant communication and strategic planning. "We need to accelerate the SHIELD deployment," Caleb said, his voice firm as he addressed a holographic assembly of world leaders. "The Tarkalians may be stranded for now, but we can't afford to waste a single moment." The planetary shield system was a marvel of human ingenuity combined with reverse-engineered Tarkalian technology. Massive generators were being constructed at strategic points around the globe, each capable of projecting an energy field that could deflect incoming attacks. Meanwhile, Commander Jack Hawkins, now Admiral Hawkins, led a series of daring missions to the ruins of the Tarkalian base on Mars. Each expedition brought back invaluable pieces of alien technology, which Earth scientists eagerly studied and adapted. Dr. Victor Reeves, his side still tender from the wound he'd received on Mars, worked tirelessly in his lab. "Look at this," he said to Admiral Hawkins, holding up a piece of Tarkalian tech. "Their propulsion systems operate on principles we've only theorized about. With this, we could reduce interplanetary travel time by orders of magnitude." As Earth's technological capabilities grew by leaps and bounds, an unexpected ally emerged. Laros, the captured Tarkalian assassin, had been watching Earth's rapid advancement with growing interest. In a secure interrogation room, he faced Admiral Hawkins and Caleb. "Your species continues to surprise me," Laros said, his alien features unreadable. Perhaps there is more to humans than we initially believed." Over time, Laros began to provide crucial intelligence. He detailed Tarkalian military tactics, revealed the locations of hidden supply caches in the outer solar system, and explained the intricacies of their technology. With this wealth of information, Earth's united government took a bold step. The Terran Space Navy, TSN, was established, with Admiral Hawkins at its helm. The first ships of this new fleet were a striking blend of human and Tarkalian design, sleek vessels overflowing with advanced weaponry. Hawkins stood on the bridge of the TSN flagship, the Defiant, as it prepared for its maiden voyage. "All systems check out, Admiral," his second-in-command reported. "We're ready to launch." As the Defiant and its escort ships rose from Earth's atmosphere, a cheer went up from the watching crowds below. It was a moment of pride and hope for humanity, their first true step into the stars as a united species. But the celebration was short-lived. Long-range sensors detected movement from the stranded Tarkalian fleet. They were on the move again, slowly but steadily advancing towards Earth. In a high-security war room, Caleb presented his plan to Earth's military leadership. "We can't wait for them to reach us," he argued, pointing to a holographic display of the solar system. "We need to take the fight to them." The plan was audacious, a preemptive strike against the approaching Tarkalian armada. It would be the TSN's first true test in combat. As the TSN fleet approached the Tarkalian forces, they were met with an unexpected sight. The alien fleet had undergone a transformation of its own. Several ships had been cannibalized, their parts used to enhance the remaining vessels. The result was a smaller but far more formidable force. Admiral Hawkins surveyed the alien fleet from the Defiance bridge. "Commence hit-and-run operations," he ordered. "Let's see what these ships can do." What followed was a series of lightning-fast engagements. TSN ships would warp in, unleash a barrage of fire, and disappear before the Tarkalians could mount an effective counterattack. Each skirmish provided valuable combat data, but also confirmed a sobering truth. Despite Earth's advancements, the Tarkalians still held a significant technological edge. Back on Earth, Caleb oversaw the implementation of a comprehensive civil defense program. Vast underground shelters were constructed in major cities, resources were stockpiled, and civilians underwent basic military training. In his lab, Dr. Reeves made a breakthrough that could change the course of the war. "It's their biology," he explained excitedly to Caleb and Hawkins. "They're susceptible to a specific frequency of electromagnetic radiation. We could potentially incapacitate their entire army without killing a single soldier." As the Tarkalian fleet approached Mars, Earth faced its most crucial decision yet. The TSN, while formidable, was not yet strong enough to face the full Tarkalian armada head-on. In a tense meeting with global leaders, Caleb proposed a plan so daring it bordered on the insane. "When we use Mars itself as a weapon," he said, his voice steady despite the audacity of his words, "we alter its orbit slightly, using it as a gravitational slingshot to disrupt the Tarkalian fleet." The room erupted into heated debate. The plan was incredibly risky, with potential long-term consequences for the entire solar system. But as the arguments raged, long-range sensors detected the Tarkalian fleet entering Mars orbit. Time was running out. Earth stood on the precipice of its most daring plan yet. As global leaders argued, the TSN prepared for battle, and scientists worked feverishly to refine their new weapons. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, with Mars looming large, both literally and figuratively, in humanity's bid for survival. The global leaders' debate was cut short as alarms blared throughout the command center. Long-range sensors had detected the Tarkalian fleet entering Mars orbit. Caleb's voice cut through the chaos, silencing the room. "We're out of time. We need to act now." Within minutes, the order was given. Across the red planet's surface, massive thrusters, hastily constructed over the past months, roared to life. The Martian landscape trembled as an unprecedented feat of engineering began to unfold. Admiral Jack Hawkins stood on the bridge of the TSN Defiant, watching as Mars slowly began to shift its trajectory. He keyed his comm, addressing the fleet. "All ships, prepare for engagement. Use the changing gravitational field to your advantage. Remember your training." The TSN vessels moved into formation, their hulls gleaming with a mixture of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered Tarkalian technology. As they approached the alien armada, Hawkins could see the confusion in their movements. The Tarkalians hadn't anticipated this bold move. "Weapons free," Hawkins ordered. "Let's show them what humanity can do." The void of space lit up with energy weapons and explosions as the two fleets clashed. TSN ships darted in and out of Mars's fluctuating gravity well, using it to perform maneuvers that would have been impossible under normal circumstances. On Earth, Caleb Murphy stood in the heart of the Global Defense Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the battle unfolding millions of kilometers away. He watched as a group of Tarkalian ships broke through the TSN's lines, making a beeline for Earth. "Activate the shield," Caleb commanded. Across the planet, enormous energy projectors hummed to life. A shimmering barrier began to form around the Earth, the culmination of months of reverse-engineering Tarkalian technology. The advancing Tarkalian ships slammed into the shield, their weapons splashing harmlessly against the energy barrier. Caleb allowed himself a small smile before turning his attention back to the main battle. In Mars orbit, Admiral Hawkins saw an opportunity. "Deploy the EM weapon," he ordered. Dr. Reeves's voice came over the comm. "Remember, Admiral, we've only got one shot at this. The weapon needs time to recharge." "Understood, Doctor. All ships prepare to exploit any openings." A pulse of electromagnetic energy erupted from the Defiant, washing over the Tarkalian fleet. Several alien ships suddenly went dark, their systems overloaded by the precisely tuned radiation. "It worked," Reeves exclaimed. "Their bioelectric systems are highly susceptible to this frequency." Hawkins didn't waste a moment. "All ships, concentrate fire on the disabled vessels. Don't give them a chance to recover." The battle in orbit intensified, but on the surface of Mars, a different kind of struggle was unfolding. Major Brian Scott wiped sweat from his brow as he worked to stabilize the massive thrusters, altering the planet's course. "Sir," one of his engineers called out, "we're detecting increased seismic activity. The planet's core is becoming unstable." Scott grimaced. They had anticipated this possibility, but not so soon. "Reroute power to the stabilizers. We need to hold this thing together just a little longer." Back in Earth orbit, Caleb coordinated a daring counterattack against the Tarkalian ships probing the planetary shield. He opened a channel to the squadron of Earth's most elite pilots. "Red Squadron, you have a go. Use Laros' intel. Hit them where it hurts." The human fighters swarmed out from behind the shield, targeting weak points in the Tarkalian ship's design that Laros had revealed during his interrogations. The alien vessels, caught off guard by the humans' inside knowledge, began to falter. As the battle raged, an unexpected message came through to Caleb's command center. It was Laros, the captured Tarkalian assassin. "I wish to join your fight." The alien's voice crackled over the comm. "Let me prove my worth to your people." Caleb hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks. Finally, he made his decision. "Granted, but you'll be under close supervision." In Mars orbit, the gravitational slingshot effect was reaching its peak. Tarkalian ships collided with one another, their tight formation now working against them. Admiral Hawkins seized the moment. "All ships, press the attack, don't let up." The TSN fleet surged forward, their weapons blazing. Tarkalian ships exploded or drifted powerless in space, overwhelmed by the combination of human grit and their own planet's betrayal. On Mars, Major Scott's team fought a losing battle against the planet itself. The ground shook violently, fissures opening up around the massive thrusters. "We need to evacuate," Scott yelled over the roar of collapsing structures. "The core is going critical." As his team raced for their transport ships, Scott took one last look at the monumental machines they had built. They had done their job, perhaps too well. In space, the remnants of the Tarkalian fleet scattered, their formation broken. Admiral Hawkins allowed himself a moment of relief before a new alert caught his attention. "Sir," his sensor officer called out, "long-range scanners are picking up a massive energy signature coming from the outer solar system." Hawkins felt a chill run down his spine as the readings came through. It wasn't just an energy signature, it was another fleet, larger and more powerful than the one they had just defeated. "Alert Earth," Hawkins ordered, his voice grim. "The real battle is about to begin." As the new Tarkalian armada approached, led by the infamous Supreme Commander Zarkon, Earth's forces scrambled to regroup. The TSN, battered but unbroken, formed a defensive line around their home planet. On the surface, Caleb Murphy worked tirelessly to reinforce the planetary shield and prepare for the coming storm. In the depths of space, humanity stood ready to face its greatest challenge yet. The victory they had just won now seemed hollow in the face of this new, overwhelming threat. But they had come too far to give up now. As Zarkon's fleet drew closer, the people of Earth steeled themselves for the fight of their lives. Admiral Jack Hawkins' voice cut through the tense silence on the Defiance Bridge. "All ships, regroup at Rally Point Omega. Use the asteroid belt for cover." The TSN fleet, battered but unbroken, began its strategic retreat. Hawkins watched the holographic display as friendly markers converged on the designated coordinates. He turned to his communications officer. "Get me Caleb Murphy on Earth." Moments later, Caleb's face appeared on the main view screen. The bags under his eyes betrayed his exhaustion, but his voice remained steady. "Admiral, we've detected the incoming fleet. It's massive." Hawkins nodded grimly. "I know. We're regrouping in the asteroid belt. How are the planetary defenses coming along?" "We're activating the global network now." Caleb replied, his fingers flying over a control panel. "But I'm not sure it'll be enough against a force that size." "Keep working on it," Hawkins said. "We'll buy you as much time as we can." As the communication ended, an urgent message came through from Mars. Major Brian Scott's face appeared, covered in sweat and dust. "Admiral, we need immediate evac. The planet's becoming unstable." Hawkins sprang into action. Divert all available shuttles to Mars. Priority 1 is getting our people off that rock. On the red planet's surface, Major Scott coordinated the frantic evacuation efforts. The ground shook violently beneath his feet as he ushered the last group of engineers onto a waiting shuttle. "Move it, people," he shouted over the rumble of collapsing structures. "This whole planet's about to blow." As the final shuttle lifted off, Scott looked out the viewport. Mars's landscape was transforming before his eyes. Massive fissures opened up, spewing lava and toxic gases. The planet they had tried to weaponize was now turning against them with a vengeance. Back on Earth, Dr. Victor Reeves burst into Caleb's command center, clutching a data pad. "We've done it," he exclaimed, his eyes wild with excitement. "We've cracked the Tarkalian shield technology." Caleb's eyes widened. "Are you sure?" Reeves nodded emphatically. "Positive. We can integrate it into our planetary defense system. It'll boost our shield strength by at least 300%. Without hesitation, Caleb began issuing orders. "Get me every engineer and technician we have. We're implementing this upgrade planet-wide, and we're doing it now." As Earth's defenses underwent a rapid overhaul, Admiral Hawkins met with his senior staff in the Defiance war room. The holographic display showed the approaching Tarkalian armada, a swarm of red dots dwarfing the blue markers of the TSN fleet. "We're outnumbered and outgunned," Hawkins stated bluntly, "but we have one advantage they don't, Laros." The Tarkalian defector stood at attention, his alien features set in steadfast perseverance. "Supreme Commander Zarkon is as brilliant as he is ruthless," Laros explained. "He will seek to establish a forward base before launching his main assault on Earth. Mars is the obvious choice." Hawkins leaned forward, his mind racing. "Then that's where we make our stand. We can't beat them in a straight fight, but we can outsmart them." He outlined his plan, using Mars as bait to lure in a significant portion of Zarkon's fleet. As he spoke, the other officers' expressions changed from skepticism to cautious hope. "It's risky," Captain Sarah Chen, his second-in-command, pointed out. "If Zarkon doesn't take the bait—" "He will," Laros interjected. "Zarkon's pride won't allow him to ignore such an opportunity. He'll see it as a chance to demoralize humanity by taking their second world." Hawkins nodded. "Exactly, and that's when we spring our trap." The plan was set in motion. TSN engineers, working at breakneck speed, rigged the already unstable Mars with a network of explosives and EMP generators. From orbit, the operation looked like a desperate attempt to maintain control over the planet. As the Tarkalian fleet entered the solar system, long-range scanners detected the activity on Mars. In his flagship, Supreme Commander Zarkon observed the human efforts with disdain. "Pathetic," he growled, his mandibles clicking in amusement. "They think they can hold on to that worthless rock." He turned to his subordinate. "Prepare a landing force. We'll take Mars and use it as our staging ground for the final assault on Earth." A significant portion of the Tarkalian fleet broke off, heading for the red planet. Admiral Hawkins, watching from his hidden position near Jupiter's moons, allowed himself a small smile. "They took the bait. All ships, prepare for combat. We'll only get one shot at this." As the Tarkalian ships entered Mars orbit and began their landing operations, Hawkins gave the signal. The surface of Mars erupted in a series of massive explosions, engulfing the landing Tarkalian forces in fire and molten rock. Simultaneously, EMP pulses swept across the planet, disabling the systems of the orbiting ships. "Now!" Hawkins shouted. "All ships, attack pattern Delta." The TSN fleet burst from hiding, catching the disoriented Tarkalian ships in a deadly crossfire. Energy weapons lanced across space, tearing into the vulnerable alien vessels. On his flagship, Zarkon roared in fury as reports of the ambush flooded in. "It was a trap," he snarled. "Humans are more cunning than we anticipated." He quickly split his remaining forces, sending reinforcements to the beleaguered ships at Mars while he led the charge towards Earth. As the space around Mars turned into a chaotic battlefield, Caleb Murphy received the alert he had been dreading. "Incoming Tarkalian fleet detected. an AI voice announced. ETA to Earth orbit, 17 minutes. Caleb took a deep breath, steeling himself for what was to come. Activate planetary shield, he commanded. This is it, people. Let's show these aliens what humanity is made of. The enhanced shield flickered to life around Earth, a shimmering barrier between humanity's homeworld and the approaching Tarkalian armada. As Zarkon's ships drew closer, weapon systems across the planet powered up, ready to unleash hell upon any alien foolish enough to breach their defenses. In the void of space, two titanic battles unfolded. Near Mars, Admiral Hawkins and the TSN fought with desperate courage against overwhelming odds. And approaching Earth, Supreme Commander Zarkon led the final push to crush humanity once and for all. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire human race, hung in the balance. The war that had begun with a single assassin ship now engulfed the entire solar system. And in the midst of this cosmic conflict, the indomitable spirit of humanity faced its greatest test. The shimmering planetary shield flared to life around Earth, a testament to human ingenuity and the fruits of Dr. Reeves's breakthrough. Caleb Murphy watched from the command center as the massive Tarkalian fleet approached, their ships blotting out the stars. All systems operational, a technician reported. Shield integrity at 100%. Caleb nodded, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. Prepare ground-based energy weapons. Target the lead ships as soon as they're in range. The first salvo from Zarkon's fleet struck the shield, a dazzling array of energy weapons that lit up the sky. The barrier held, rippling under the assault but remaining intact. Shield holding at 98%, another technician called out. Stress levels within acceptable parameters. Caleb allowed himself a small smile. Return fire. Let's show them what we've got. Across the globe, massive energy cannons swiveled skyward. They fired in perfect synchronization, lancing beams of destructive power into the Tarkalian formation. Several alien ships erupted in flames, their hulls breached by the precision strikes. In orbit, Supreme Commander Zarkon snarled at the unexpected resistance. Impossible! Their defenses should have crumbled by now. He turned to his subordinate. Intensify the bombardment. I want that shield down. The Tarkalian assault redoubled, waves of energy washing over Earth's protective barrier. Caleb gripped the edge of the command console as the room shook around him. Shield integrity dropping, a technician reported, her voice tense, down to 85% and falling. Caleb's mind raced. They needed a way to tip the scales and fast. Near Mars, Admiral Hawkins led the TSN in a fierce battle against the remaining Tarkalian forces. The human fleet, a fraction of the size of their alien opponents, darted between larger ships, striking with precision and retreating before the enemy could respond. The Delta Squadron target the command ship at coordinates 2127 Mark 115, Hawkins ordered. Gamma Squadron, provide cover fire. The human fighters swooped in, their weapons finding vulnerable spots in the Tarkalian vessel's armor. Explosions blossomed in the void, silent testament to the effectiveness of Hawkins' tactics. On the bridge of the Defiant, Captain Sarah Chen monitored the battle's progress. Sir, the Tarkalians are having difficulty coordinating their attacks. The EMP from Mars seems to be interfering with their communications. Hawkins nodded. Good. Press the advantage. I want their fleet scattered across half the system by the time we're done. Back on Earth, Dr. Victor Reeves burst into the command center, his eyes wide with excitement. Caleb, we found something. Caleb turned from the battle display. What is it, Victor? A weakness in their formation, Reeves explained, pulling up a new hologram. Look at how their ships are arranged. There's a pattern to their communication relays. If we can disrupt it... Caleb's eyes lit up as he grasped the implications. We could throw their entire fleet into disarray. He turned to his communications officer. Get me Admiral Hawkins now. As Caleb relayed the plan to Hawkins, a new fleet of stealth satellites was quickly prepared. Within minutes, they were deployed, slipping undetected into the Tarkalian formation. Activate the jammers, Caleb ordered. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Tarkalian ships, suddenly cut off from their command structure, began to move erratically. Some collided with their allies, while others fired wildly into space. Zarkon raged on his flagship's bridge as reports of chaos flooded in. "What is happening? Restore communications immediately." But the damage was done. The once coordinated Tarkalian assault had devolved into confusion and disorder. Seizing the moment, Laros led a small team of human fighters towards Zarkon's flagship. "Remember," he instructed his squad, "we're aiming for the main reactor. Once we're inside, follow my lead and stay close." The infiltration team slipped through a gap in the flagship's defenses, landing in a rarely used maintenance bay. Laros led them through a maze of corridors, his intimate knowledge of Tarkalian ship design proving invaluable. As they approached the reactor core, alarms began to blare. "We've been detected," one of the human soldiers warned. Laros nodded grimly. "Then we have no time to waste. Plant the charges and prepare for immediate exfiltration." The team worked quickly, attaching explosive devices to key points around the massive reactor. But as they finished, a squad of Tarkalian soldiers burst into the chamber. "Go!" Laros shouted to his human companions. "I'll hold them off and make sure the charges detonate." The humans hesitated for a moment, but the tenacity in Laros's alien eyes brooked no argument. They retreated, fighting their way back to their ships as Laros engaged the Tarkalian security forces in a desperate last stand. As the human fighters escaped the doomed flagship, a massive explosion tore through its heart. The mighty vessel broke apart, secondary explosions rippling along its length. On Earth, Caleb watched in awe as Zarkon's flagship disintegrated. A cheer went up in the command center, but Caleb knew the battle was not nearly finished. His fears were confirmed moments later when new alerts flashed across his screen. "Sir," a sensor operator called out, "we're detecting multiple planetary incursions. Tarkalian dropships are exploiting weaknesses in the shield." Caleb's expression resolute. "Contact Major Scott. We need to mobilize our ground forces immediately." Across the globe, reserve military units and civilian defense forces scrambled to engage the Tarkalian ground troops. Major Brian Scott, fresh from the evacuation of Mars, took charge of Earth's defense. "Use the terrain to your advantage," he instructed his global network of commanders. "Hit-and-run tactics. Don't let them establish a foothold anywhere." In cities and wilderness alike, humans clashed with Tarkalian invaders. The aliens' advanced weaponry was fearsome, but humanity's home field advantage and Scott's strategic guidance kept them at bay. As the ground battle raged, Admiral Hawkins received a dire warning. "Sir," his sensor officer reported, "we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the asteroid belt. It appears to be some kind of superweapon." Hawkins' blood ran cold as he realized the implications. That cannon could destroy Earth in a single shot. He made a split-second decision. "Captain Chen, you have command of the main fleet. Continue the assault on the Tarkalian forces here. I'm taking a strike team to neutralize that weapon." Chen saluted sharply. "Understood, Admiral. Good hunting." Hawkins assembled an elite team of his best officers and pilots. As they sped towards the asteroid belt, he briefed them on their mission. "We don't know exactly what we're facing," he admitted, "but the fate of Earth depends on us taking out that weapon before it can fire. Whatever happens, that cannon does not activate. Is that clear?" A chorus of determined affirmatives answered him. As they approached the hidden Tarkalian base, Hawkins could see the massive cannon powering up, its barrel larger than some moons he'd seen. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," he ordered. "Weapons free. Hit that base with everything we've got." The human strike team engaged the Tarkalian defenders in a furious battle among the asteroids. Hawkins piloted his ship with skill, born of decades of experience, weaving between floating rocks and enemy fire alike. But despite their efforts, the superweapon continued to charge. Long-range sensors indicated it was nearly ready to fire, its target undoubtedly Earth. Hawkins gritted his teeth as he dodged another barrage of Tarkalian fire. They were running out of time and options. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, with battles raging from Earth's surface to the depths of space. The war had reached its most critical juncture, and the next few moments would determine whether humanity would survive or fall to the Tarkalian onslaught. Hawkins's eyes narrowed as he assessed the situation. The massive Tarkalian superweapon loomed before them, its energy readings spiking ominously. Time was running out. "All ships, prepare to engage," he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. But as his team moved into formation, a realization struck him. Their firepower wouldn't be enough to penetrate the weapon's defenses in time. He took a deep breath, coming to a decision that would alter the course of the battle. "Everyone abandon ship, that's an order." "Sir?" his second-in-command questioned, confusion evident in her voice. "You heard me, Lieutenant. Get to the escape pods. I'm taking her in." As his crew reluctantly complied, Hawkins gripped the controls of his ship tightly. He engaged the newly adapted Tarkalian shield technology, the ship's hull shimmering with an otherworldly energy. The Admiral pushed the engines to their limit, his vessel streaking towards the superweapon's vulnerable energy core. Alarms blared as he breached the outer defenses, Tarkalian energy weapons glancing off his reinforced shields. Hawkins's mind raced, calculating trajectories and power outputs. As he closed in on the core, he activated the shield's energy absorption protocols. The ship shuddered as it began to draw in the weapon's building energy. "Come on, old girl," Hawkins muttered, coaxing every ounce of power from his systems. The absorbed energy reached critical levels, threatening to overload his ship's systems. With a final push, Hawkins redirected the absorbed energy back into the superweapon's core. The effect was instantaneous and catastrophic. The feedback loop caused a chain reaction, energy levels spiking beyond containment. Hawkins smiled grimly as explosions rippled across the superweapon's surface. He had succeeded, but at what cost? With seconds to spare, he scrambled for the ejection controls. The Admiral was thrown clear as his ship disintegrated, the force of the blast sending him tumbling through space. The superweapon erupted in a blinding flash, obliterating a significant portion of the surrounding asteroid field. As consciousness faded, Hawkins caught a glimpse of a rescue ship approaching. His last thought before blackness took him was of Earth, hoping his sacrifice had been enough. Meanwhile, on the blue planet's surface, the war raged on. Major Brian Scott coordinated a global counteroffensive against the Tarkalian ground forces, his voice calm but authoritative as he addressed his commanders. New York pushed them back block by block. "Use the skyscrapers for cover and ambush points," he ordered, watching as holographic representations of human forces advanced through Manhattan's concrete canyons. Switching channels, he continued. "Amazon units, the dense foliage is your ally. Hit-and-run tactics, wear them down." Reports flooded in from around the globe. In the Sahara, human forces used the vast desert's harsh conditions to their advantage, luring Tarkalian units into sandstorms that wreaked havoc on their equipment. Scott's innovative tactics, combined with humanity's home field advantage, slowly but surely turned the tide. Adapted Tarkalian tech in human hands proved devastatingly effective against its former masters. In Earth's orbit, Caleb Murphy orchestrated a masterful space battle. The Tarkalian fleet, still reeling from Zarkon's defeat, struggled to maintain cohesion. "Deploy the drone waves," Caleb commanded, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Swarms of unmanned craft, each equipped with Dr. Reeves's electromagnetic pulse technology, surged towards the alien ships. The effect was immediate. Tarkalian vessels lost power in droves, their systems overloaded by the precisely targeted EMPs. As alien ships drifted powerless, TSN boarding parties moved in. "Boarding successful on Tarkalian command ship designate TK-117, a Marine sergeant reported. "We have control of the bridge." Similar reports echoed across the communications channels as more Tarkalian ships fell to the human assault. The tide of battle had shifted dramatically. In his lab on Earth, Dr. Victor Reeves pored over data streaming in from the captured Tarkalian ships. His eyes widened as he noticed a recurring pattern in the alien databases. Caleb, he called urgently over the comm link. "I found something you need to see." As Reeves explained his discovery, Caleb's expression shifted from confusion to understanding. The Tarkalians' aggression stemmed from fear of humanity's potential, as foretold in their ancient prophecies. "This changes everything," Caleb mused. An idea formed, bold and potentially war-ending. "Prepare a broadcast to all Tarkalian frequencies. I have a message for our would-be conquerors." The broadcast went out, a carefully crafted blend of strength and compassion. It showcased humanity's purpose, their recent victories, but also their capacity for unity and cooperation. Footage of Laros's sacrifice played alongside scenes of humans and Tarkalians working together in the heat of battle. The effect on the Tarkalian forces was immediate and profound. Confusion rippled through their ranks, followed by discord and then, remarkably, dissent. A Tarkalian commander, his mandibles clicking with agitation, broke formation. "This is Commander Vexorn of the battlecruiser Nova Fang. We wish to discuss terms of surrender." Caleb could hardly believe his ears. "Understood, Commander. Stand by for further instructions." As if a dam had broken, more Tarkalian ships followed Vexorn's lead. The once mighty invasion force began to crumble from within. Admiral Hawkins, having recovered from his near-fatal mission, took charge of the final negotiations. His reputation, burnished by his recent heroism, carried significant weight with the Tarkalian leadership. "We've all seen enough destruction," Hawkins addressed the alien commanders. "It's time we forge a new path, together." The last holdouts, faced with the combined might of the TSN and their own surrendered brethren, finally relented. A ceasefire was declared, marking the end of the Tarkalian invasion. As the guns fell silent and the fires of war began to cool, a new chapter in Earth's history began to unfold. The long, arduous process of reconstruction loomed ahead, but humanity faced it with the same indomitable spirit that had seen them through the war. Dr. Reeves, his eyes alight with excitement, led a coalition of human and Tarkalian scientists. "The potential of our combined knowledge is staggering," he explained to a group of eager researchers. "We're not just repairing war damage, we're building the foundation for a technological renaissance." Caleb Murphy, meanwhile, tackled the complex task of integrating surrendered Tarkalian forces into Earth's defense structure. Many aliens inspired by Laros's example chose to stay and protect their new home. "Welcome to the Terran Galactic Defense Force," Caleb addressed a group of human and Tarkalian recruits. "Together, we'll ensure the peace and security of not just Earth, but our entire solar system." As Earth took its first steps into a new era, Admiral Hawkins prepared for humanity's next great adventure. He stood on the bridge of his new flagship, a marvel of human and Tarkalian engineering, ready to lead Earth's first deep space exploration mission. "Our mission is twofold," Hawkins briefed his crew, a mix of humans and their former adversaries. "We'll establish diplomatic relations with other alien races and spread the message of cooperation that ended the war. The galaxy awaits us, not as conquerors, but as explorers and peacekeepers." The ship's engines hummed to life, ready to carry humanity beyond the boundaries of their solar system. As Earth receded in the viewport, Hawkins couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and hope. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger, wiser, and united with their former enemies. The stars beckoned, promising new challenges and opportunities, and humanity, battle-tested and resilient, was ready to meet them head-on.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.